Question number one, what jeopardizes your safety? Um, I think there's a lot of things as a woman that can jeopardize my safety. Um, me talking things that I shouldn't be doing because they put me in possible danger are going to a bar and drinking alone, walking home alone at night, um, talking back to a man, especially if he's been drinking, standing up for myself. Um, I think what actually jeopardizes my safety are people in power trying to write a narrative about my gender or trying to take rights away from my gender. I think that a lot of toxic men jeopardize my safety a lot. The men that would take advantage of a woman alone at the bar, men that would drug a woman at the bar, that would follow a woman home, men that would hurt a woman for denying their advances, would hurt a woman for standing up for themselves or having an opinion. I think a big part of what jeopardizes my safety is having a president who has made it okay to be misogynistic, who has, no matter, I think one of our biggest issues with him is no matter what his meaning of what he's saying is, no matter what he feels he is saying is, it's how these groups are interpreting it, how these groups are taking it and using it as a weapon. So he's made it okay for men across the country to act this way towards women, to um, act like they're superior or hurt women or take advantage of women. So yeah, I think a big part of what jeopardizes my safety is the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Question number two, what precautions do you take to ensure your safety? Probably not as many as I should. I still have a bad habit of taking cocktails from strangers or shots from strangers, which has gotten me in sticky situations before. Luckily, I've had people that have looked after me, but um, I always carry a pocket knife on me. I always carry a self-defense tool on my keychain. I always have my phone on hand whenever I'm walking alone. I have ensured that I know how to fight. I know how to box. I know how to defend myself. Um, I also often do have people make sure, majority of the time, keep men around me that are bigger and stronger that can defend me if needed, because I have been overpowered by men at the bar. I have been hit or hurt by men at the bar, and I've needed somebody of equal strength. Um, what is something someone has done to you to make you feel threatened or unsafe? How did you cope, move forward after that experience? There is a lot of situations that has happened. I I have been drugged at parties. I've been drugged at bars. I have been hit by men at bars for little to no reason or for simply defending myself verbally. I've been knocked out unconscious in front of bars by men for this. I have um, I've been threatened numerous, more than I can count times, by people on the internet for turning them down, for denying their advances, for standing up for myself. Um, I have been, uh, I've had men that I've had a restraining order against drive past my parents' house, drive past my mother's home where my little sister resides, threaten to enter our house in the middle of the night. All I can do to cope and move forward after these experiences is think logically, contact police if necessary, just take one step at a time and do not give in to the fear, not give in to the threats. And in my experience, 98% of the time, they're full of hot air, and they're looking for a reaction, and they're looking for you to respond in a negative way, or come and be kind to them or beg them, or a number of reasons. And you can't give them that response. You can't give them what they want. So you take it, you defend yourself. You told them, no, this is not okay. This is not appropriate behavior. You do what is necessary. Um, yeah. What parts of your life require bravery? Um, I think that I'm a bartender, and I think that there have been lots of times where I've needed to be brave when I have not wanted to be. Either if there is an altercation, if there's a certain like line that you have to walk in that career of somebody has disrespected you in some way. If a man or woman has respected you in some way or acting out of line, you need to not only speak up for it, to make, if you have security or no security, whatever, speak up about it, but also follow through with your action of, no, you cannot continue to be served here. You need to leave. And that takes a lot of bravery. It's very difficult at times to confront your almost assailants, because you don't know how they're going to react, if it's going to be violent, or if it's going to take a wrong turn. You don't know if they're going to listen, or if you're going to need to call the police. It would be a lot easier to ignore them and continue with your job for the evening, but it's not possible. If it's you, it takes a lot of bravery to stand up to these people sometimes, especially when they're under the influence. um, what does community inform how does community inform your sense of safety? Hmm. This one, I don't think that I'm really grasping on what the what you're looking for an answer, or how what you mean by the question. Um, I there's definitely like the community of young adults around me, of people that are pro women rights, um, pro Black Lives Matter, pro LGBT rights, that I feel that we all work together to keep each other safe. Like, hey, this is a safe zone, and we can be us, and we're gonna fight for each other. But I don't think that my country has given any of those groups a very big sense of safety in the past few years. Um, I think that they've been targeted over and over again, and our country's definitely failed us to make us feel safe and accepted where we live. When have you felt you were a part of a group you did not want to be associated with, and why? Um, I mean, this hasn't happened since I was like a child or a teenager, but because I was um, Caucasian and blonde haired and light colored eyes, there was a little white supremacist group that used to be around here in Visalia called KR. And I was immediately roped in with them, which is not me. I'm very against any type of discrimination for race. I think white supremacists can all burn in hell. um, and I wanted nothing to do with that. That was not me. And it was just by like association of myself knowing people that knew them and how I looked. Yeah. If anything, what has the government ever done to make you distrust them? Everything. Every single thing that they've done in the past 20 years, if not longer, has made me distrust them. I do not trust the government in any which way, shape, or form. I think that there's a lot of cogs in that machine that we're not made privy to, or the information that they're giving, or choices that they make. Everything. like, um, how has quarantine in 2020 influenced and changed the way you perceive safety? Um, I didn't realize how unstable my job was. I've been a bartender almost my whole life. I've grown up in the industry, and within days, it was ripped out of my hands. My source of income to support my family was gone. And there was no fighting it. There was no finding another. It's not like I lost my job and I could find a different one. The world was shut down. I don't have many other skill sets, you know. And it really, at least, and sure, it's arguable that I could find a job doing other things, such as like if retail was open or Walmart or Target or things like that that really needed the help, but it would not supplement the amount of income that I needed to support my household. And that was a really big eye opener. Like there was so much uncertainty. Like we didn't know when this was going to end. Like, was I going to be able to feed my child next month? Were we safe? Um, there's also just seeing the public health from all around me. People that I have known my whole life are getting sick, are dying, or their children, or their grandparents, or it's insane. It's not something that I ever thought would have happened in our day and age. I haven't seen half of the people close to me in 4 months because they live with their elderly parents, and it's unsafe for them to come to a dinner at my house, because my roommate works for Walmart and there's so much cross contamination. Like it's mind boggling, all of the strings and connections that we never thought about and how it can affect somebody that isn't immediately involved with you. It's it's an eye opener. 9. What is an experience in your life that makes you want to change one thing about the current state of the world? Um, hmm. There, I think that's a tough one. I'll have to think about that for a quick second. Um, so a big thing for me is the issues that are going on with like pedophilia currently, or people that are wanting to hurt children. This whole Save the Children movement. Um, whenever whenever I was a child, from the age of 7 to 12, I was sexually molested by my uncle, and it was an awful experience. And I don't wish it upon anybody. And I came forth at the age of 12 to tell my family because we had found out that another sibling of mine had exposed this was happening to them as well. Um, and my parents were very upset, very angry, but he was already incarcerated for something else at the time, and there wasn't really a whole lot that they thought they could do about it, I think. Um, and then as I got older, at the age of 17, I was encouraged by actually another actress at the COS theater department, to file a police report against this man because it was something that I've obviously had been struggling with for lots of years. And the state of California has no time stipulation, no statute of limitation, I think it's called. And so I filed a police report. I told them about myself and my other sibling and this and that. The detectives went to my mother's house to interview the other sibling because they needed to gather as much information that they could. Um, and my mother denied them access to speak to this person. And then when I got home, my mother was very upset with me and very enraged with me, and um, said some very awful things to me about making it up, or about um, me consenting to these things at the age of 7, or me asking for these things at the age of 7. Um, It was very awful, and it discouraged me from following up with the police officers and the detectives, and it kind of just washed away. Like there was nothing to happen after that. And I think that that process that the law enforcement took um, was not correct. I think that with the amount of detail that I gave them, I think they should have opened an investigation regardless of speaking to the other victim in this. I think that they should have um, followed up about it. I wasn't a child. I was 17. I actually might have been 18 by that point. I'm not sure. If I wasn't, I was maybe a month or two away from being 18. Like I could get charged as an adult, so I should be treated like an adult in an investigation. Um, and I would like to change that. I would like to change how we handle those types of situations. We don't handle it with care. We don't handle child abuse with any type of fragility. I've been seeing cases pop up left and right in this past year about children that have been abused either sexually or violently and hurt these poor helpless children, and our system failed them over and over and over and over again. The problem, I mean, yes, the problem are the people, the assailants, but the problem is the system. We don't have enough outlets for them. Like there was no information at the age of 12 when I came out and told my family. There was no information for me to know how to go about filing a report myself, filing a case myself, to going to authorities, to going to my school. I was never made aware that that was an option, that it was a safe option, and so I got manipulated by this man for years that it wasn't an option. And I want there to be more information out there for children, for not only sexual cases, but even just family child abuse cases. Just if they're getting hurt in any way, that they have these options. They can go to their police force, they can go to their local station, they can go to their teachers, they can go to lots of places, or certain organizations. I Yeah. Sorry. um what are concerns the deaf community have about their safety? I couldn't even imagine. I mean, they even just functioning in a day-to-day world, I couldn't imagine trying to walk around Mooney Boulevard without being able to hear what's going on around me, without being able to hear cars coming. That's a first like warning signal if you're in danger, or if I'm walking home alone at night and I'm deaf and there is a man following me and I can't hear them, I can't hear their footsteps. I'm a lamb. I just I couldn't imagine how terrifying that could be and how much more at risk that puts them. Um, you can't hear an explosion when imagine being deaf and being just a few blocks away from the twin towers being crashed into, and you couldn't hear the explosion. you know that just it boggles me. It's honestly, though, it's not something I've ever really thought about.